Hello everyone, welcome back again. My name is Jesse, and in this wonderful tutorial, we're trying to see another data cleaning example with Python and with pandas. So we're trying to see how to work with test data, how to be able to split a column into multiple columns in case you have a column with maybe full name and you want to split it into first name and then last name. We're trying to see how to work with it. We're trying to see how to join two columns, how to replace words, and then several other aspects. So now let's see how to work with it. So I'm going to load our data set and our package. So import pandas and that's as PD, right? That's what we're working with it in this particular tutorial. Then let's load our dataset. So let's call that load dataset. So let me increase the size so that I'll be able to see it well. Okay, so we're going to load our dataset as df. It's going to be pd.read csv. Then we're going to supply our dataset. So the name of our dataset is going to be dataset. So we have dataset, right? That's what we're working on. So perfect. If I run this, now let's check our dataset and see what we have. So df.head, then it's going to list it perfectly for us with ID, full name, and then all of these plenty stuff that we have here. So we have all these plenty information, right? So first of all, let's check our column names. If you check our column names, realize that these are not consistent. We have ID with small letter, full name, capital with some dashes and some spaces, right? So you want to make sure that it is consistent so that we can work with it. So df.columns, right? So realizing that not all of them are consistent, so you have to make it consistent to be able to work with it, because all the manipulation of our data set will be based on the columns. We'll be using the columns to help us with our manipulation of our data set. So it's going to be df.columns. So we can convert the entire columns into uppercase or into lowercase. So lower. So if I go with this, now it has converted everything to lowercase so that you can be able to work with it. So I need to be able to separate these ones, put dashes here in between these ones so that I'll be able to work on it. Now let's see how to do that. So df.columns is going to be our previous one that we had, which is this one, right? So that we have now it is in lowercase. Now let's see the next thing. So how to join them together, to make it more cleaner. So it's going to be a renaming to do that. So how do we do that? It's going to be df.rename, and I'm going to rename my particular stuff. So I'm going to rename the columns. The particular column that I want to rename is the first one, which is going to be our full name, right? I want to rename this full name into this particular format of full dash name, right? So that is what I want to do. I want to do the same thing for our date of birth. So date, so I want to change it with the dash inside. So it's going to be date dash of dash birth. Perfect. So now it has named it well, right? But this naming of it, full name, date of birth, is interesting. But when I go back to the previous one that we had, if I go with the df.columns, realize that it did not change, right? It did not change. So the only way for us to change it is to bring the in place here. So let's bring it as this. So we bring in place here. So if I bring in place, it's equal to true. Now it's going to convert it perfectly. So if I go back to this df.column, now it is perfectly replaced, right? So it just has been replaced perfectly. So that is how to work with our data, our column name. So our column name is done. So now let's see how to work with splitting, doing that. So the first method is going to be method 1. So what are you trying to do? You're trying to do df.full name, right? So if you check this particular df.full name, realize that this one is having two names, right? So we want to have this one as first name and then this one as last name. So how do we split it? So the first method is to go with the string method. So it's going to be the df.full name, then .string .split. So we're going to split it based on space. So if I split this one based on space, it's going to create a list for us. It's going to be a list with all the names there, right? So that is not the best method. So now we have been able to put them inside a list. So the next option is to be able to get all the first values here of the as first name. So let's call it as first name. So df first name is going to be same stuff that we had here, right? Then we're going to go with, you can either make it like this, right, to allow it to work. If I do it like this format, that means I take everything from the first one or from the 0. So that is, this method is going to give us an error, right? So because it's seeing it as the first line, it's seeing it as this first line. So that is not the best method. So the best method is to use the dot get. So dot string dot get, then dot get. You're telling that I want the first part, which is this one. So in Python, realize that we count from 0, not from 1, right? So 0, 1. So I want the first part, which is going to be 0 here. So if I run this again, so that that's giving us, oops, I'm going to run. If I run this particular stuff we had here, realize that that's giving us only the first name, Salem, Madeleine, Dolly, and all of these things. So that is how to work with it. So now we have our first name. So first name is equal to this. Perfect. So we have our first name. So in case we want to get our last name, so if I go with this same dot first name, we have our first name. So all of them is single names, right? So the next option is to get our last name. So to get our last name, we're going to use the same format. So let's call this one as this. Then this is going to be our last name. Last name. Right, this is going to be our last name, and then instead of it becoming 0, this is going to be 1. So that it's going to create it as last name. So if I go with df dot last name, so that now all the last names are there. Perfect. So that is how to work with it. So that's the first method of working with using the split and then string dot get. So the second method is to use the expand. So this is going to be method 2. So the method 2 is used for when you are trying to, when you have multiple names. So let's say we have df dot full name, right? Then if you have this df dot full name, all of them are in multiples of, let's say, 2 names. But in case you are having 3 different names, let's say something like Salem, Pound, James, or Martin Luthes, maybe Sarah or something, 3 different names, you can use the expand to do that, right, to help us work on it. So that in that case going to be the same thing that we have. So df, let's make it as df1 is equal to df, right, so that we don't change it. So df1 dot our full name, then we're going to split string dot split, then we're going to bring the expand, right? So expand is equal to true. So this expand is equal to true is will allow us people to split it well and then put the remaining in the right places, so that as being able to split Salem in 1, Pound in 2, and then in case there were other names, it's going to put them in their various respective places. That is how to work with it. So you can also be specific in making sure that the first one is kept together and then the remaining 3 are kept together. So how do you do that? So that's going to be our third method. It's going to be the same thing like this we have with the expand, right? Then instead of it being expand, you're going to set the number. So n is equal to 1. So if I set n is equal to 1 and I check it again, it's going to put everything as 0 for the first name, then all the remaining one is going to be placed as 1, right? So that is how to work with it, so that you group all the other names together as 1. So that is how to split names into split one column into multiple columns using string dot split. That's the second method. Okay, now let's see some other aspects we also want to do with our data set. So df dot head, let's split that 3. Okay, perfect. So we have named to split our names, right? If I go back to this, now we have our first name and our last name. So let's see how to be able to replace a string. So in case we have this particular string as income, now I want to replace this stuff here, dollar, with something that we can be able to calculate and work on it. You'll be working on it. So this is going to be our finding string in place. So finding a string or expression, right? We want to find an expression and then replace it and replace. So how do we do that? So it's going to be like this. So I have my df dot going to be income 1, right? So this income 1 is having dollars in front. So I want to replace this string here, right, which is the dollar sign with something, so that I can be able to work with it, because I cannot do calculation on this. If I find the sum of this, it's going to give us an error. So if I do something like df dot it's going to give us an error, right? So we want to be able to convert them into actual numbers. If I check for the data type of this, so d type, so that it's an object, right? This is an object, but we need to be able to make sure that it's easy for us to be able to calculate it well. So that's why we want to replace them. So to replace them, it's going to be idf. Copy this one so that it becomes faster. Here we have dot string dot replace. I want to replace some particular stuff. So what the first value takes, this one takes the first thing that you want to replace, right? So I want to replace the dollar with something else. So what do I want to replace? I want to replace it with an empty space. So if I run this now, let's replace all the dollar that we had here, these dollars here that we had. Now just replace it with nothing, right? With an empty space. So that's the one method of doing it. The other method is that you can actually replace it. In case I want to replace it with something else, let's say I want to replace it with euro, I can also do the same thing. So I go with this now, see that it's having euro in front of it. So that's how to find a particular string, a particular pattern, and then replace it, right? So that's one of the ways of working it. Okay, perfect. So now let's move on to the next thing that we can also do. So from our data set that we had, df.head, from our data set we had, you also realize that we had something like we have something like this, right? We had some salary. Inside the salary we had these different Bitcoin numbers, right? So in case you want to find a particular Bitcoin, a particular string, a particular match, inside either the salary or inside the quote or inside the phone number. So how do you do that? This is going to be about finding a particular string, right? There's also, so there are several methods. So you can use the string dot contain, and then you can also use the string dot filter, and you can also use the string dot match. So there are several methods you can use to do that. There are other methods you can also work on it. Now let's see how to do that. So the first one is going to be df.salary. So we want to find a particular Bitcoin that is having the number 19 right in front of it. So it's going to be like this. So df.salary dot string dot contains. So I want to find every string that contains that particular stuff. So I want to find everything that contains 1, 9, right? So if I work on this like this, now it's going to bring true, true, true for all of them, right? So true for the one that is having it. So to get that particular value, can make it like, to get as boolean. This is as boolean. So that's why it's given it as true or false, right? But I want the actual value, the actual location. So I will just put the entire stuff here that I had. So df, then do this. So if I run it like this, then now it is giving me the particular place that is having this stuff, right? Perfect. So that is one of the ways. So it's giving us as this place. So we see that it's not all of them, not all the values, but only some specific values. We have 20, 0, 20, and then so 19, 19, 19, 19, right? So you can use a contains to do that. So that's the first method. The next method you can also use is that you can also use the contains with another expression. So let's make it like this. So I'll copy this one. Then in case I want to find two multiple stuff, so I want to find, let's say 19 and then 17, I can also use the same stuff. It's also going to work for me. So that it's giving us the first one true, true, and then the rest false, false. That is one method. To the next method, still with the contains, that we can also be specific and then specify whether it's should use a regular expression or not. It's going to be just is equal to true. So with this, you can actually supply a particular regular expression. It's also going to work just like the previous one. Okay, that's how to find a particular string using dot contains. Now let's see how to use the same thing with dot match. So it's going to be df.salary, right? Dot string dot match. Dot string dot match is also the same method you can also use. And you can also supply the particular stuff. So let's make it as like 19, and then it's doing the same thing as we have here. So let's use dot match on something different. So it's going to be this. We have df. So we have several codes. So I want to find something within the codes that can be finding all of them. So let's say I want to find a way like operative or something, right? So I can just use the same thing here as df dot my string dot my match, right? So I want to match every place that is fine, that I can find the word operative. So operative. Perfect. So we have false, 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 and we have true here, right? So that is where all the way that I have in the word operative. So I can put this stuff inside another df to get the actual value. Perfect. So we have operative here in all these particular terms. So let's check it and see. So now we have operative, coherent, operative, neutral, operative, scalable, operative, blah blah blah. That's how to work with finding a particular string. Perfect. So that's how to work with it. So in case, so that is how to find a particular string, right? So with this particular option, it is not supposed to be like this, right? Dot filter. So the dot filter is used only in case you want to find a particular number, particular index. So let's say I have this. So let's say this is finding a number. I can just do it dot df, right? Dot my particular stuff. So let's say dot salary dot filter. The regular expression I want to use, right? So regis is going to be, let's say 19. I want to find all the numbers, let's say 19 or let's say 18. Then with I can go straight away with this and go to list every index. So this is checking, this only check for the index, right? So 18, 18. It's not going to check here, it's checking here, right? The index. So I can actually use this format, or I can also set the as 0, right? So see what I did as 0. So any of them is going to work. So that is how to work and find a particular index instead of finding a particular string, and then it's going to list it only for the index with 18, 18. So 18, 18, 18, 118, 180, 180. Just has, that's how it's working. So that's how to find a particular string. Now let's move on to the next aspect of trying to join a column, joining columns together, right? And then, so how do you do that? So there are several methods of using it. So you just check on a simpler one. So in case I have two columns. So this I have df head, and I want to use this particular stuff. Say I want to use the first name, or the first name to join with the email, or the first name to join with something, right? So, or the country to join with the name, something like that. So I can actually use the same thing. So let's join, let's say the name with our email. So you can have this method, the first method of it's going to be my df dot first name, right? We have our first name, and then you can also make it like this, df dot email. Then it's going to join them together. See that has joined them together. So that is one method of doing it. So the next method of working on it is that we can also use something similar. So this is going to be method 2. Instead of using addition, you can also put the same stuff like addition, but I want to put a dash inside it. It's still the same thing, right? So I need to place a dash inside it with that same particular method. So this is still part of method 1. So the method 2 is going to be like this. So instead of going with this particular stuff, this is going to be method 2. Instead of going with this, you can also use the join format. So how are we going to do that? Join. So it's going to be like this. So let's call that df. Let's say df all, right? Then I'm going to supply my value, which is going to be my first name, right? And then the next one is going to be our email. So I want to join these things together. So I'm going to use the dot apply. Then I'm going to supply whatever thing I want to do. So dot apply can be used to do a lot of things. I can join them together. Dot join. Then I'm going to set the access 1, right? So if I run this now and I check it back again with df all, you know that it has joined them together, right? With the space. If I put a value here like dash, now it's going to join them with the dash. Then I just join them with the dash, right? So that is how to work with joining them together. So we can use the same thing to join our first name and our last name together. Okay, perfect. So that's how to join a particular stuff. And let's see how to count the particular stuff inside the string. So this is about counting. We have this our quotes here. So this is our quotes, right? We want to be able to count the number of tokens inside, the number of words inside. So there are several methods of working with it. So the first method is going to be our df.quotes.string.count. So we can use .string.count. Then when we do it like this, we can actually supply .count you can go it like this. So if you do it like this, right, let's do it like this, it's going to count it up, right, but it's not going to give you the exact value, because if you check this, it's 1 2 3. The reason it's giving us as 1 2 3 is that with the dot count here like this, it's counting the space, it's counting it, I think it's counting based on the space, 1 2 1 2, right, it's counting based on the space. So the best way is just to add 1 to it, so plus 1. So if I do it that one, now it's not going to just count based, it's going to count based on the space and then give us the right value. So this is going to be 1 2 3 instead of counting as 1 0, like 1 2 1 2. That is the basic idea behind it. So that's how to work with it. That's the first method. So the next method, you can also do that. Instead of using this, you can also use another method, which is going to be this. It's not going to be the dot count, but rather it's going to be using the dot split and then dot length. So dot split, right, then dot length. We can use the dot length like this, dot split, dot string, dot length. This is quite long, right, which is giving us exactly the same thing that we had here, right? So that is how to do that. So that is the second method of doing it. Now the third method is going to be like df dot quote dot string dot split, right? That is the third method. Then I can use the dot map. Dot map, then I'll pass in the length. So it's also going to do the same thing. So this and this are almost at the same thing. And then the final value is that I can use the apply to do that. It's going to be my df dot df, right, instead of df dot split dot apply, and I'm going to apply whatever thing I want to do. So I want to apply my length, then I can do dot value count. So if I do dot value count, it's going to do it for the entire stuff and count the general sum of it for us. That is going to be done for the entire general stuff. But with this same thing, without the dot value count, you can also get all the individual values, right? So this is the same as this, same as this, same as this, to be able to count the number of strings in a particular column. Okay. So if I go with this particular format, this is going to give us the entire stuff, right, for the entire value. So thank you for watching this tutorial. In case you have any question or contribution, you can just put inside the comment section so that everybody can benefit. And please don't forget to subscribe. Stay blessed.